Good morning. It's Wednesday, October 21st. I guess kind of the first day of the rest of the year, although there's plenty of things left to do. It's low 40s, I think, right now, but the sun is shining. It's supposed to be kind of half decent today, I think. It was way foggy earlier. Still pretty foggy, and everything's way damp, but not as bad as it was. So I think my game plan is to go get the Hiniker air seeder toolbar hooked up on the TG, and I think I got some rye found, so probably going to go after it in a little bit with seed wagon, and then kind of see what the day brings. I would like to get some bins leveled off and run fans today possibly, because I think it's going to be lower relative humidity this afternoon to be able to push some air through stuff and kind of get it aired out, dried down a little bit maybe. Mostly just want to kind of get everything equilibrated so that everything's the same moisture. If there's some spots in there that are a little wetter, especially on the stuff we ran yesterday that might have picked up some moisture off of leaves and getting rained on a little bit and stuff. Probably not enough to matter in the grand scheme of things, but that's kind of where we're at. The way the forecast looks at the moment, it sounds like it's going to rain a fair amount tonight, tomorrow night. And then, it's supposed to be moderately warm today, like 70 tomorrow, I think. And then get quite a bit colder. So I probably have some stuff that I need to get sorted out and put it in the heated shop as far as herbicides that didn't get used this year. And probably need to get the sprayer pulled in there if it's going to get real cold. I'm not sure if it's going to get cold enough to matter. It might be okay in the shed. I think the lows that I have seen so far were like mid-20s. So if it's not real cold for a long period of time, usually you're pretty okay. But the debate is whether to try to run hard on rye and get something in the ground today in case we get pushed out for a week or so. I think I have about 2 weeks to get the stuff seeded that I'm supposed to seed for the cost share. I would hope that we would get a decent window to do that within the next 2 weeks, but you never know. I wouldn't have expected it to be as dry as it has been for the last 2 weeks. So, I guess in some regards, we could be rolling the dice and it's going to be wet for a period of time now. Anyway, we're going to kind of get things hooked up and see how stuff goes together. I'm hoping that the Hiniker setup won't take as long to get ready to go to the field this year as last year, since we have used it at this point. But I haven't really looked at it since I parked it last fall, so I'm not sure exactly what we're going to find. But step one is getting the toolbar on the tractor and getting that drug home, and then we can start kind of looking things over and checking bearings and stuff, and get the seed cart hooked up and some rye on hand and go from there. Alright, so we are now all hooked up. Turns out it's a little bit easier when your 3-point hitch arms aren't completely frozen and you've had it hooked up to this tractor before. Time to pull this home. We're going to find out exactly how light the tractor is on the front end. I don't have any front weights on right now, and this toolbar weighs a pound or two. So we'll kind of see how it handles going down the road. There's probably a moderate chance that I'm going to want to put at least some of those front weights back on, but we'll kind of see how it acts. This tractor has a little more weight than the 7220 did when I picked it up and moved it a little bit with that last year, and it was way light on the front end. But this tractor's quite a bit heavier and has the front wheel assist axle to add some weight on the front end, so we'll just have to kind of see how it acts. So far so good though. It's after lunch now. Actually warm enough I probably could take my jacket off, but I haven't yet. Got the air cart hooked up to the toolbar on the seeder. There was a row unit that I worked on earlier. Basically the tube had cracked down here where the seed goes through, and I just ran it that way last year, but I thought I would get it actually welded back together so it wasn't loose. So I took a few things apart, got that welded, bent and welded, I should say. I'm not sure if something was tweaked funny. It wouldn't line back up with the crack, so I have a feeling that's why it cracked. I noticed this one has a crack started also. I haven't hooked up the air tubes, haven't hooked up the electronics yet. Was going to go get some rye, so I got the wagon drugged to the shop and checked the air in the tires, but there's sort of some green on the radar and it's sprinkling just a little bit. So I think we're gonna maybe stay in a holding pattern for a minute here because I think it's raining where I was going to get the rye and I would rather it be dry. So yeah, starting to sprinkle more. Might be time to pull the combine in the shop. It hasn't started raining in quantity yet. It's sprinkled a little bit, stopped, kind of cloudy, kind of sunny. So I've got the combine pulled up here by the shop, so if it does start raining, we can get it in quick. But I'm gonna, I think, try to blow off some of the muck from yesterday. Muck and kernels from head shelling. So a lot of this is like silks and what would have been dust that's now mud. A lot of it was probably built up in here and dry from running corn previously and then got wet and sticky, and probably is a good idea to try to get it blown off before it turns into concrete. I'm gonna go find some gloves because my hands are already dirty from the little bit that I dug on the camera, for the camera, and try to kind of knock as much of this stuff off as I can so that things hopefully don't rust a lot and make more work cleaning up later. I messed up and tipped the snouts down before I got the camera out, but we're clean-ish. It seems like there's some spots, this one's not bad, but some of them have some stuff jammed back in there, so I think I'm going to back the combine up a little bit and run the head just a little bit to try to maybe dislodge some of that. And this is going to take another pass cleaning stuff up sometime, but at least a lot of the stuff that was wet hopefully is not there, so hopefully it'll rust less and there'll be less stuff stuck and hard and dry that we have to deal with later. I'm not sure what my game plan is going to be on the painting situation because there's a lot of dirt and some rust in spots. You can see back on that patch panel there and stuff, so we'll see. It's about, I think, 4 o'clock. I haven't even looked at the time lately, I guess. Wagon is full of rye, or full-ish, 150 bushels. I just sort of got the fuel tank in the back of the pickup drained out into tractors, and sort of I'm working on figuring out how to rearrange things to get everything in tonight. I was thinking I probably would try to take the grain platform over to where we store it. There's a couple things that I was planning on working on it, but not anything too critical, so I might punt. Because I kind of need this area to be able to get the Hiniker and the TG in without unhooking everything again. I think I've got some space in the other storage shed so I can rearrange some stuff. Unfortunately, the two tractors that would be handiest to have out of the way, the John Deere A and the TW30, neither one have very good batteries, so we like to keep them somewhere that we can hook a charger up to them without too much trouble for fear that they don't start when we want them to. So I'm not sure exactly my total game plan yet, other than we're going to try to get everything under a roof tonight because it's supposed to rain a bunch.